My name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com. I'm the host on the Rinse Radio Network and co-founder of Doomcast. The RAND Corporation, cornerstone, key cog in the military industrial complex, has allowed a memo to be leaked. Now, the full authenticity of this leaked memo is yet to be established. However, all indications are that it is the real thing, and I'll attach it to this video. You can read the article for yourself, and it is a step-by-step how-to guide in order to deal with the unrest in eastern Ukraine. It is chilling to read this memorandum, but it isn't a surprise. This is the tactic used by the West in order to expand this empire. It's a hell-bent, anything goes, destroy the enemy at any cost, and propagandize the activity as liberation or as spreading democracy. 3 steps in this memorandum. The first step: suspend the Constitution and implement martial law. This is inside of eastern Ukraine now. Suspend the Constitution of Ukraine, implement martial law. Anybody that decides to stay inside this region must be guilty. You must assume they're guilty, according to this memorandum. It goes on to say they need to set up curfews from 8 p.m. To 6 a.m. in the morning, suspend all broadcast news, suspend all television or telephone and mobile communications, suspend the internet, and implement special procedures when it comes to dealing with the media. Number 2, the mop-up phase of dealing with insurrection inside of eastern Ukraine, and that is internment camps. Encircle the region with Ukrainian troops, bombard the hell out of them with airstrikes as well as our artillery. Any male 13 years to 60 years old will end up inside of an internment camp. If they have any kind of residue on them, including oil or dirt, looks like they have been in some kind of fighting activity, including bruises, they're going to be tried for terrorism. If they are tried for terrorism, in the third phase, they end up losing all of their property, and this property, as well as property that is abandoned because of a hell that was unleashed on that region, reverts to the government. It is nationalized. This memorandum also goes on to say anybody that resists, and the interpretation of resistance is going to be left up to apparently the troops in the field, Ukrainian troops in the field, which are going to be convinced already that anybody that remained in this region must be a terrorist. So any resistance whatsoever will be met with immediate death. They will be put to death as nothing more than terrorists. This model has been used before. Regardless if we find out this RAND memorandum is authentic or not, we've seen this model before. In fact, we just had Russ Caputi on, Marine Corps veteran of Fallujah, and talked about his project, the Fallujah project, where we use this same kind of model inside of Iraq, namely inside of Fallujah. We convinced the world, we convinced the troops on the ground, we convinced anybody and everybody that would listen with controlled media that this city of 300,000 was a hotbed of terrorist activity. And in fact, that terrorists completely dominated the city, and anybody that remained in this city must be a terrorist. Then ensued the house-by-house devastation of this city and the killing of thousands and thousands of people, a lot of them suspected to be nothing more than civilians. The same exact operation is going to happen inside of eastern Ukraine. I was called an alarmist 6 months ago when I talked about the escalation of violence inside Ukraine. Why should we care about this? Why should you in America on this 4th of July care about what's going on in eastern Ukraine? Because we helped foment this violence. We helped pay for this violence in 60-some quasi-government programs that was exposed by Dennis Kucinich. 60-plus programs, $5 billion taxpayer dollars, toppled the elected government inside Ukraine, leading months later to the implementation of the current regime headed by the chocolate king Poroshenko and the violence in the eastern portion of Ukraine. We are part and parcel to that. We have NATO that's pushing for more troops on the ground inside of Eastern Europe. This situation could go from extremely bad, which it is right now, to all-out war in Eastern Europe. We got to keep our eyes on this because we're going to be continue to be fed a bunch of propaganda. We have a responsibility to understand what's going on in Ukraine because we helped pay for it. The more bloodshed that continues, the more people that die, the more innocent civilians that die, a region that continues to be devastated. We need to understand that it is our so-called leadership that is pushing for more and more of the same inside of Ukraine. It's time to wake up and realize that everything that we're being fed by the media about how this is all Russia and this is all some kind of organic internal event happening in Ukraine is a complete and total lie. We will be pushed into more conflict in this region unless we wake up and realize that we're being fed a bunch of garbage from Washington, D.C. and our so-called leadership. It's time to wake up and realize this truth. Stories are attached. That's all I got.